Hey everybody, welcome back to Steve's Garage. Here we are again. If you remember the last video, we made the trunk. We're going to do a couple more things to that today and try to get it 90% wrapped up. Also, did a little sanding. I finished welding all the butt welds on these panels down here, and we'll review all that stuff and then move forward. I always like to start every video by thanking everybody for tuning in. Number one, thank you for all the amazing, wonderful comments. Everybody's just really great and kind and said all good things about what we're doing here, and got a bunch of new subscribers. So that gives me the incentive to keep on going forward with this thing. And as I've said before, this is the third car that I've built from scratch. Well, not from scratch, but renovated, you know. And this started off as a Model 48, 1935 Model 48, which was a 4-seat car. This roof line was 21.5 inches back. Basically, it's like 21.25. And then had the hump back on the back here. We cut all that hump back off. We slid this forward and, combined our roof lines and cut an inch out of the front. That's all on the videos from the past. So please go back and check all those out and catch up to where we are now. So I hope you're all doing great. It is, I think, the 3rd of March now, and spring is springing. So we are, it's a cloudy day today, but it's like 40 degrees. Going to be in the 50s tomorrow, and looking forward to spring. Can't wait, and I'm sure you all are too if you live in the cold climates. So let's take a look at what is happening. So here's the trunk line, or the trunk lid, I should say. If you watched the last video, it was a nail biter. This is the second trunk that I've made. The last one was on my 1929 or 28 Coupe, which I'll show you at some point. It's kind of a rat roddy thing, but it's pretty cool. So this is how it turned out. After the video was over, I took and finished, repeened everything all the way around, knocked all those edges down tight. So I got, a nice round edge there. The corners, I've got to do a little spot weld on and tighten those up. But other than that, really happy with the shape of this thing. And that's that. So the hinges, I wound up making a little spacer for it. You can see right there. It's a little 10 gauge steel, 1/10 of an inch. And I cut that out and polished it up and drilled it out. So it raised these hinges up here, because the old style was a little hump trunk, which is about 1 foot long. It was really pretty bizarre. But it brought me up flush here by adding those little bump outs on, and gave me a really nice finished line. As you can see here, it pretty much flushed me out. So the only thing we need to do here at this point is I want to, if you look at my lines, I kind of come in here and I widen out down here. And that's why I didn't do the finish welding on this. As I explained in the last video, now I can cut this apart, move this over, re-tack it, and I can, create my perfect line on both sides. This one just needs to be moved a little bit over on the bottom, and this one needs to be moved over on the bottom and on the top. It's a little widened out there. Hard to see on the camera. The camera kind of distorts stuff. So another thing you might wonder is, well, geez, these lines seem kind of wide. But figure 3 coats of, 3 coats of primer, 3 coats of paint, 3 coats of clear, maybe 4 or 5 coats of clear, depends on where we go with the paint job. And that's going to tighten these up like almost 1/16 of an inch probably on both sides. And it's going to tighten that line up. And I made that mistake on the last car I built. I kept my lines really tight. And then when I painted, it sucked in there and left me with, some messing around I had to do afterwards. So Yesterday I spent the day welding. This is like 6 feet of weld between the two sides. Doesn't look like much, but you have to, go like every 6 inches, let the panel cool down, do the other side, let that cool down, and I jump back and forth because you can't, as you probably all know, if you put too much heat here, this will pucker, and an oil can, like they say, they'll boom, 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 it'll pop in and out. So this is all, it's nice, nothing warped, and it's in good shape. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So there we are. So let's get at this and see if we can get these things straightened out. Oh, another thing we're going to do while we got this is we're going to do these interior drips. Now, you can see I've got this one here, and I'm going to continue up around the side. And this is the factory one here. That's the one that, came from Henry Ford's factory, and I've notched it on both sides. And then we'll run our new one up the side. So then we'll have water gutters all the way around. And that will satisfy the rain. And hopefully the car will probably never be in the rain again in its life, but in the chance it does, that'll keep the water out. So let me get my tools set up and we will get rolling. All right. So I've got my little air grinder set up here, and we're just going to cut these first couple of welds out and we'll go from there. So again, I always like to see where you guys are. I'll keep you in the frame. And that's that. Whoop. I gotta get my stuff. Starting out with a small problem already. Gotta tighten that sucker up. So when I always buy my tools, they always come with the box, and I keep the box and all the little tools somewhere because it's always like these things for changing the blades get set down in the pile of the ongoing projects, and then when it comes time to change your disc out, you're like, what the hell, where did I put that one? So that's just a fact of my life anyway. I don't know about you guys. But constant chaos around here, it seems, looking for stuff. But it could be worse. Now, I take the two tools, put them back in the box, and I know where they are when I need them. Helpful hints from SW. All right, that was easy enough. So I've got to move this so I can roll my welder around. Let's close the lid. This is just a magnet I have hanging around, and that's my temporary handle. I got to release. I've got to release that third one too. Do I have to release that? Yeah, definitely. Release the third one. Release the third one. Here we go. Trying to get that in line where I want it. Another look from where you are. I think I'm going to put a weld up here first and then do down here because I don't want to, I don't know if you can see that, the little, it's open here like a 16th or so and goes down to nothing, but I don't want to press down here and move this down any further because I'm pretty good in plane there, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, everybody? Now we've got to find a place to ground out. That's the hard part. Where will we ground out? Shoot. Nothing's open, so I don't have any. I guess I'm just going to try to click on the body and hope we get a ground. I like to be close to where I'm welding with the ground and not too far away, so hopefully it grounds it out. We shall see. Yep. Just a hair. All right. Now, all right now, we're going to cut this top free. Well, I hope you're all having a good winter. Heading for spring quickly as we can here. I am looking forward to it. Looks like we did it. That's opened up. A little piece of steel. I'm thinking that that's pretty darn good. I'll just give it a little tweak with my fingers when we're welding. So just so you know, I'm trying out a new microphone today because my old one, if you used to hear it, it would like had a little clicking sound. It was rubbing on something. And this is the new microphones. I have two of them. They're tiny little things, but hopefully it does the trick. Like everything here, I've tried to experiment as we go and haven't spent a lot of money on it. My old microphones, believe it or not, were $18 for two of them, straight from Amazon, and that's it. I mean, just, you know, micro technology now. Should I say nanotechnology. So everything's cheap. And some of it's good, some of it's not, but it's tough when you're welding a wide area like this here that's open. You have to touch down and get a little weld on here, touch this side, get a little weld, and then put them all together. You can't drag it from one side to the other because you'll just burn a big hole in it. That molten steel will not be your friend. So there you have our gap all the way down. And let's see, the closer I get with the camera, it makes it distorted, but it really looks good from this end. So that's what you have. You get a little fisheye effect with those camera lenses. And again, I'm using my cell phone. I'm not using a GoPro or any of that fancy stuff that they got these days. All right, so let's get this side done. And I just have to do right at the bottom here. This one's in good shape. So this should only take a minute and a half. Move that over. Let's get a knife. So the problem I have here is I've got two things to do. One is hold that down while I'm prying it. And that's going to be the hard part. All right, so now this is where you have to get creative. So let's get creative. So this is the problem with having only one of you around. And what we'll do is we'll create a third hand. Put a little tape around there. So that'll hold that. We just got to push that down while we're welding. And that's it. Third hand. Perfection. Liking it. See that? There's always more than one way to skin a cat. Every time. And there you have that. Now another thing is these hinges up here the holes are oblong. There's two screws or bolts, should I say, from underneath on both of them, and they have like a, you know, a good 1/4 inch of drag in either direction. So I got this centered up on both sides. Now I've made my, you know, the lines there so they both are the same. But when I paint this, this will all come off. This will all be painted separately, put back on, and then I can, you know, make it so it works. What am I trying to say? You know, so it's even on both sides. You have the same narrow shore point, as they call it in construction. Now, I've made pre-made off camera 2 of these, which we'll call them gutters, for lack of a better word. And we got one for each side. And we're going to now stretch this metal and get that to curve, you know, like the other stuff here, to meet this same angle like we did the sidewalls. And that's that. So without any more malarkey, let's get on the stretch. So I changed my blades. I have stretchers on here now. So this will be the top. That's for the passenger side. We'll start from the middle. You don't want to go too crazy in your first run. Because, of course, if you overdo it, what do you got to do? Do it over. And I'm only giving it, I mean, maybe a 1/4 pedal. I'm not really cranking it down, but that's just by eyeball there. And you can see how quickly that moved. So we'll take a peek. What I want to do What do I want to do? What are we doing here? I want to... So it has to be lined up with the other one. And I've got to cut this to length, I think, because it's hitting the bottom of this one here, and we'll have too much on there. I just can't do it right. So let's get this thing here, and I guess we will mark it there. So we're going to go there. I guess that'll be fine. So I'm just going to snip this by hand. Keep it easy cheesy. Think you can see that? Got my line on there. Then afterwards, I'm only going to put a few a few tacks in these things because I'm going to use seam sealer, which is a caulking. They use it in every new vehicle, and we use it when we build these cars. Where all my, you have new metal in, and it comes to the sidewall, and it's welded. That's not the end all for air and all that. So you still have some perforations you will, because when you're welding in an area where no one's ever going to see, you don't go too crazy on getting it. Sometimes we'll just tack every half inch or every inch. And even in your car, when they do seams, they tack weld them, every 5-6 inches or whatever. And then they put seam sealer on. It's made for the auto industry, and it's just a caulking. We use caulk around windows and doors in the construction business. That's what they do in automobiles too. So I got to take another smidgy off of that. Yes, seam sealer. It's in all your cars. Just trying to fit this thing in here and see what we got. Actually, I think I went a little too aggressive on that. It's hard to believe. Barely touched that thing. So this is pretty good, but I got to shrink it a little bit more now on this end, and then add another piece in here. So we'll put this one aside for now. So I'm going to have to change the blades and shrink that one a little bit, and we'll work on this one now on this side. So this, funny, left to right, right? So you got to keep on looking at it. So we're stretching. So this out like this. All right. All right, we're all on the same page again. Try not to go too far in the first pass. Let's see what we were looking at here. Okay, so that one inside. I get it now. That goes inside. I gotta do a little grind a point off right here. To show you, I'll give you a zoom. So you can see over there, I took this gutter and it fits inset to go past, meet up with this side, you know what I mean? Because the water's gonna come down here, fall into this gutter, roll down here, fall into this gutter, and ultimately go out a pipe in the middle. So on this side, I want to do the same thing, but I have a little piece of steel holding me up there. Not much, just a hair. Just a smidge, as they call it. That puts us in there. And at this point, I can mark this to cut it with the ever missing black pen. And that will get us to our final, how we want to shape this thing. Don't shoot the cameraman. So I don't know how the new mic is sounding out, but or working out, but I hope it's working out. We won't know until the end. That's one thing about not editing when we do these things. Like, what the hell? You don't know what you're going to wind up with. So this whole video might be a never seen. There. So I guess I can tack these in place. Let's take a look here. This one, it's hard to believe I bent that once and it's like good. That's just weird. That's good. All right, let's tack this in place. Thinking on your feet, always thinking on your feet. Hoping for the best result. Hey, worst case scenario, what do? Take it apart. That's all you can do. It's just metal. Now, what we want to see is, now that I've done it, is that we don't have any problems shutting, and we don't. So, I'll show you this here. So there's the gutter in place. And then it runs up into that back side. The water will roll around from down here and then into this gutter. I've still got a couple. I need a little patch under in here. And the usual, you do these things, and it's not just one and done. It's multiples and done. So this one, I've got to put the shrinkers on and shrink that. All right. So now we got the shrinkers in place, and we're going to pull this back a little bit. I know exactly where I got to be, but I don't want to overdo it and have to change out one more time. Boy, I really overdid this one. I overdid it. Whoa. That was a big move right there. We're pretty darn close. Pretty darn good. Of course, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So I've got to trim this down. Well, it's already 10 after 4 here. Turning the clocks back this weekend. So it'll be 10 after 3 next week. Another smidgey. Perfect. Just there more. There you have it. So let's lock that in. All right. So we got both sides in. You can see gutter in the side there, goes up to the top. Gutter in the side, up to the top. And it shuts down. Now I still want to do an interior panel in here, which will be at a later date. But for right now, gutters are in. They still have, a little bit of, it's always a little bit of finish and stuff for this. You put the four sides in, but I still got to tack up and down the sides, a little patch under this side in the corner, and then afterwards it'll all be caulked in, done. But to bring this to start to finish would probably be a 4-hour job by the time we're done screwing around in and out. I've got an hour to show you what's going on. Just wanted to show you how they work, and that's where we're going. I also want to show you a new dilemma that we'll be moving on to as time goes on here. But our next big project on this car, which there's going to be many, is the roof line. I made a quick little roof pattern here, and as you can see, it's just a quickie on here. But I wanted to see how this roof line ran, and it kind of runs, until it gets down to the very end. It's pretty. What am I trying to say? Pretty consistent with its shape. You know what I mean? Now, if you've watched the past videos, this other side was, I bought this thing. Obviously, it's 100 years old, basically. And this side here is like, cream toast already. But when I put this pattern on there, I get, it's like horrible. You can see what's going on here. So I'm going to have to cut out all of this in here and replace that. So that's the next part of our adventure is this side. This side's kind of been hidden from view the whole time. I did, weld in the door frame and, I've, did everything I had to do from the other side on this side, but I keep looking at this roof line and I'm like, holy Somalians, we have to, it's just a disaster. And every time I look at it, I'm like, wow, I've got my hands full. So it's going to take every ounce of skill training and, meditation. things that I don't have. So we're going to get at it. We're going to cut it up. We're going to work on it together. And it makes me, I don't know. It's just, it would have been great if this wasn't smashed, obviously, but it's just a disaster. So it makes me a little anxious, I guess I should say. So on that note, I keep looking at this thing And it, of course I love it, it's coming along really good. And, the shape is really cool, but I also, trying to get the whole car in the frame, I took a picture of it the other day, and then I cut the picture up. So there's the car. Just look at the roof line. And what I did with this black and white is I chopped the roof down a little bit more and leaned the front down a little bit to give it a little more mean rake. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. You never know. I keep looking at it, and like I said, this was just a little less change. That's a little more change. But you never know where it's going to go. Like I said, this is a work in progress. And it's not over till we say it's over. You know what I mean? So I want it to be as badass as I can make it, for sure. I want it to be, you pull it into the car show and everyone's like, yeah, here it comes, one of them. So who knows what's going to happen yet? I still haven't taken the front and rear fenders in the running board off yet. I'm going to be heading for that. And I want to see it without the running boards and fenders on it, because it might be a whole nother idea change on it. So I don't know. And the spare tire, a lot of guys are like, I don't like the spare tire. Some guys, Steve, the spare tire is great. You've seen it today without the spare tire on it, and it's pretty cool looking. I mean, for sure, it's a hot rod, So where will it wind up? Spin the giant wheel, kids. You never know. Let her rip. Black or red. Put your whole life savings on one. Pick a color. So I don't know where it's going to wind up, but I certainly know this is an absolute freaking ball. I'm having so much fun doing this. And last night I laid awake. I'm exhausted today because I laid awake for, I don't know, maybe 3 hours thinking about this damn car and the roof line and that other side. And it's the good kind of laying awake, not the bad kind. So it's part of creating. It's enjoyable. So anyway, spanker in the butt. There you have it. Hey, thanks for coming back, guys. It's awesome. We'll see you on the next one, and we'll see where this thing takes us down the road. We're all on the same journey together, and let's build a car, man. So we're having fun. Have a great night. This is hopefully I'll get 2 videos out this week, and this will be number 1. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for coming back every time, man.